You've made it through so much. Decades filled with challenges, growth, joy, heartbreak, change, and courage. And yet, even now, there's a quiet truth the world forgets to say to people your age. You're still becoming. Yes, even now. Even when your hair is grayer. Even when your steps are slower. Even when the world calls you retired, you are still alive. And where there is life, there is growth. Becoming doesn't stop with youth. It evolves with time. It deepens. It ripens. And in many ways, it becomes more meaningful than ever. Because in this season of life, you're no longer chasing status or rushing toward goals that don't fulfill you. You're no longer climbing ladders just to prove you can. Now, you get to build something else. Depth, wholeness, peace, meaning. Becoming now looks like healing old wounds. Accepting your story, slowing down enough to notice beauty again. Choosing kindness, not because it's easy, but because it's who you've become. You are not done, not by a long shot. In fact, this might be your most powerful chapter yet. This is the season where you get to become who you truly are. Without the noise, without the pressure, without the expectations. You get to become softer, slower, wiser. You get to shed the roles you no longer need to carry. You get to ask deeper questions, give better answers, and live with more grace than you've ever known. You are still becoming, even now. Because becoming is not just something we do when we're young. It's something our soul continues to do for as long as we live. You're still becoming every time you learn something new. Every time you choose to forgive. Every time you say, "This is who I am now." You are still allowed to change, to grow, to evolve. There is no deadline on becoming. It's not reserved for the young. It is a lifelong unfolding. And in fact, some of the most beautiful growth happens when we are older, because now you have the wisdom to grow with intention. You're becoming someone who trusts their intuition more than opinions, someone who values peace over performance, someone who embraces quiet days without guilt. You're becoming someone who finally knows the power of saying no and the freedom of saying yes to what brings you joy. Maybe you've slowed down physically, but inwardly, you're rising. You're becoming someone who listens more, who sees through nonsense faster, who understands that presence is more valuable than productivity. And let's not forget, this chapter of becoming might be the one where you stop carrying what was never yours to hold. The expectations, the perfectionism, the fear of judgment. All of that can be laid down now. This is your time. You've raised children, supported others, held so many people together. But now, maybe your becoming looks like returning to yourself, reclaiming the parts of you that were set aside for survival, rediscovering what you love, not because it serves someone else, but because it makes your heart come alive. You're still becoming. Every time you choose to be kind, when it would be easier to turn away. You're still becoming when you take care of your health, not to look a certain way, but because you love the life you still have left. You're still becoming when you dare to dream again, even now. There is no expiration date on growth. You are not too late. You are right on time. And maybe this version of you, the one who's been through so much and still wakes up with hope, is the version that was always meant to emerge. Becoming now means letting life feel sacred again. It means holding hands longer, letting go faster, laughing louder, crying when you need to, listening with your whole heart. Becoming now means realizing that success isn't the peak of a mountain. It's a quiet day, well lived. It's being at peace with who you are. You are still allowed to become joyful, to become creative, to become spontaneous, to become playful. You are still allowed to become a beginner at something, to get it wrong, to try again, to not be good at something and still love it. You are still allowed to become soft in a world that hardened you. You are still becoming. And if no one else tells you this today, hear it now. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not past your becoming. Because becoming doesn't have an age, it just needs a willing heart. So let your life continue to open. Let it continue to surprise you. Let it keep calling you toward more beauty, more depth, more you. The best part of becoming, it never ends. And you, even now, are still in bloom. You're still becoming when you spend more time with nature, noticing the patterns in the sky or the way trees let go when the seasons change. You're becoming every time you listen more deeply to others, not just hearing them, but seeing them. You're becoming when you hold your own hand in moments of fear or loneliness and say, "It's okay. We've been through worse." You are still becoming when you find peace with past decisions and begin writing a softer narrative about yourself. When you stop apologizing for your existence. When you take up space, not loudly, but confidently. You are still becoming when you sit quietly and let your soul speak. When you make room for rest without guilt. When you choose slow mornings over rushed starts and gratitude over comparison. Every small act of love toward yourself, every gentle thought, every forgiving breath is proof that becoming never ends. Even when your hands ache, even when the world feels distant, even when your reflection looks different than you remember. You are still here, still growing, still blooming. You are still becoming. And that is beautiful. So take this season slowly. Hold it in your hands like something sacred. Let your days be filled not with urgency, but with intention. Watch how your soul settles when you give yourself permission to move through life with softness. You're still becoming in the quiet mornings when no one is around, and you sit in silence with your thoughts. You're still becoming when you light a candle at the end of the day and feel gratitude for simple things. You're still becoming when you resist the urge to rush, and instead, trust the pace of your own heart. You're still becoming when you smile at someone passing by. Not because you expect anything in return, but because you still believe kindness matters. You're still becoming when you choose not to complain, but to count your blessings, however small. You're becoming when you forgive yourself for not knowing better, and when you give yourself the same compassion you so easily give others. This kind of growth is invisible to many. It's not on a resume or a social media page. It's felt in the atmosphere of your presence, in the calm you bring into a room, in the way others feel safe near you, even if they don't know why. You don't need to do anything extraordinary to matter. Your becoming is enough. And the truth is, you're not just still becoming. You are still contributing, still teaching, still inspiring. Every story you tell, every memory you pass on, every moment of grace you show. That's how the world grows kinder, through people like you. So don't let anyone tell you that your becoming ended when the kids moved out, or when the career slowed down, or when your body changed. It didn't. Becoming continues, right now in this breath. So breathe in deeply, be proud of how far you've come, and keep becoming, because your life is not behind you. Much of your beauty is happening right now. And before this moment ends, let this truth settle in your heart. Becoming isn't about fixing yourself. It's about returning to yourself, again and again, with grace, with patience, with tenderness. Let your life be a garden that's still blooming. Let your heart remain open to wonder, even in the smallest forms. Let your days be stitched together, not by busyness, but by meaning. And when you close your eyes at the end of a quiet day, may you know this: you've lived, you've mattered, and you are still becoming something beautiful. Even in your stillness, you are creating space for others to rest. Even in your silence, you're giving permission for others to speak gently. Even in your solitude, you are showing what it means to be at peace with oneself. You are part of something larger, a story that spans generations, and the way you live now, the grace, the thoughtfulness, the steadiness, is an offering to those who follow. So may you continue to unfold, to soften, to notice, to let life keep shaping you, not because you need to be more, but because you already are, and life is revealing it. You are not the end of a journey. You are a wise, beautiful continuation. And that truly is something to celebrate.